Very happy to see you all. Tonight's topic, I guess, we sort of covered it several times under different names, but different times makes the topic very relevant to the time that when it is being presented. And of course, I'm not going to present it in a way that you thought I was going to present it. I'm gonna, of course, surprise you. I'm gonna really try to go into it in a way that really makes it very, very applicable, so that when you leave tonight, you feel that you have something, you have a tool to use, even though it may at times feel like these kinds of tools are very abstract, that there aren't really examples, there aren't really incidents in life where we can actually start to apply them. But all these tools that we talked about, all the tools that are talked about that in a very abstract, we are supposed to use them immediately in our lives, otherwise they are useless. The meditation that we're going to do tonight is an old ditty. Some of you will remember this meditation, so it's going to take a little while, not as long as that long one, okay? So don't stop panicking. It's going to be just a bit longer than what we've been doing lately. But it's something that some of you are familiar with already. And we'll get into the talk, and then this time I'll try very hard to leave time so we can have discussions and we can have talks, okay? And before I forget, I'm going to forget, I wanted to ask your permission if I can send you email announcements when one of you or someone I know has an incredible idea and they would like to share it with you, with this community. So if it's okay with you, okay, all right then. And I won't blast you, okay? Don't worry about it. Just every once in a rare opportunity, something comes up and I say, oh, this would be great to share with this community. Okay, so now I have your permission. So those who are not here now, you voted for them. Okay. All right, so let's begin with the meditation. So happy to see you guys. Some faces I haven't seen in a long time, or some names. All right, so begin with a clear understanding, a clear knowledge that you are going to enter into something called meditation. Bring to mind whatever understanding you have about what is meditation. Let that sit with you. And as you're sitting with that, begin to feel your body, begin to feel your emotions, begin to feel your mind, begin to feel all the different parts that make you up, beginning to respond, beginning to wish to cooperate. And as you do that, start making adjustments in the body, but not only in the physical body, but also in the energetic body. Start making adjustments. Start making adjustments in your mind, in your attitude, knowing that I'm going to meditate. And once you feel comfortable, okay, this is the posture that's conducive for meditation. Spend some time becoming familiar with the sign that indeed that you are going to into the meditative state. Feel a sense of readiness in the body, a sense of calm, a sense of pleasantness. And let your senses feel free. Be in the state of freedom. You're not going to control anything. You're not going to force anything to happen. But you're going to enjoy freedom. Freedom of the senses to go and be aware of whatever that's coming to them. And in the center, in the midst of that sense of freedom, I want you to stay. And feel the natural impulse to relax. Go into that natural impulse to relax and relax. And as you relax, begin to notice the signs that you are indeed entering into a meditative state. Begin to be aware of them, the signs arising in the body, the signs arising energetically, the signs arising in the breath, behavior, the signs arising in how you are aware of the mind and the things in the mind. And as you begin to be aware of them, let yourself go into them. Do not grasp them. Do not reject what is not them. And at a certain point, come to the breath without rejecting other things, but just be mainly aware of the breath. As you breathe in, you know you are breathing in. As you breathe out, you know you are breathing out. In the very casual, very easy way, gently become aware of your connection to your immediate surroundings. And that's through the sense of touch, the first one, the most immediate one. Feel yourself, the point of contact between you and your seat. And feel the sense of support that your seat is giving you. And because you're supported, because you're being held, that part of you that wants to protect you, that part can be at ease. And because of that, you can let yourself go a little bit deeper. And you may even notice you sink a little deeper into the cushion, into the seat. And there's a slight enhancement in the signs. Be aware of them. If you allow yourself to be aware of the slightest changes in these signs, even from 0.01%, kind of an enhancement, you're training yourself to abide in subtle awareness. So as you breathe in, as you breathe out, you scan the body, making sure you're comfortable in your legs and stable in your legs. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, naturally, you notice the signs in the legs themselves. You rejoice witnessing the signs in the legs, the calm, the pleasantness. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, naturally, notice the signs in the stable, comfortable uprightness of the spine. Rejoice as you witness the signs in the relaxed shoulders, even the hands, the arms. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, notice the signs in the centered placement of the head and neck, and even aware of the signs present there, the calm, the pleasantness, and whatever other signs that you are aware of when you are in the meditative state. Rejoice as you witness the signs in the natural placement of the mouth, teeth, and tongue. Be aware of the signs in the relaxed muscles of the face and forehead. In the soft resting of the eyes. And there's a particular sense of ease, a particular pleasantness to the overall experience. And this pleasantness is like your seat. It is not something being given to you because you're doing something, but rather the natural state from which you are experiencing. And now take that breath, which is a commitment breath, knowing that you're going to completely let yourself go as deeply as you can into the meditative state. With that commitment, take a nice deep breath through the nose, gently, fully breathe in. And through the mouth, just let release. And as you release, letting go, letting go, letting go in the body, letting go in the breath, letting go in the mind, going deeper into the calm, going deeper into the pleasantness, keep letting go, keep letting go. Leave the breath alone, let the breath return to its own rhythm, but staying in that momentum of letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Feeling the signs enhancing in the body, enhancing in the breath, enhancing in the mind. Keep letting go, keep letting go. The calm becoming calmer, the pleasantness more pleasant. And upon the presence of the inner signs, the signs pointing to the mind's clarity and radiance and focus, rejoice. These inner sensations, wherever they appear, however they appear. Some of you may feel this more energetically than others. Some might feel it more like a sense of peace. Some might feel it more like a sense of joy. Some may feel it with the intensity of some of the inner sensations. However you're aware of it, that conviction sign that you're indeed right now, at this moment, abiding, having accessed a more subtle level of consciousness. Rejoice. And witnessing yourself definitely abiding in some less subtle level of consciousness, in some degree, in some depth of the meditation state. Now make the intention again now to stabilize this so that you continue to cruise deeper and deeper into this state. With that intention, we will do this with 3 full breaths through the nose, gently, fully, breathe in. And through the mouth, release. Feel yourself going deeper into the calm, the pleasantness, the clarity, the radiance, rejoice. And again, through the nose, gently, fully, staying where you reach, breathe in. And through the mouth again, let go. Let yourself go deeper physically, let yourself go deeper energetically. Staying at the depth. Staying there again through the nose, another full breath through the nose, breathe in. And again through the mouth, release. And then release, letting go physically, letting go mentally, letting go energetically, letting go, letting yourself go deeper, deeper into the calm, deeper into the pleasantness, deeper into the clarity and radiance where these sensations are gaining strength and vividness. Now gently bring your attention to the space in front of you at the level of your eyebrows. And with your attention there, you begin to feel a kind of a sensation in the forehead, whatever it may be for you, whether it's a pressure, whether it's temperature related, whether it's pulsing, however you're feeling it. Immediately ascribe, label, identify that sensation as, this is a sign of the presence of my ideal. This is a sign of my natural ability to focus. somewhere deep within our knowing, there is a conviction about an ideal way to be, and we feel not at ease, we feel uncomfortable until somehow, through some means, we find ourselves being that being. What is the object? What is it that this conviction is convinced about? What is the sense of this truth that it is convinced about? Keep thinking that. And know that one day, without a doubt, it doesn't matter how fast we are moving now, how slow we are moving now, but one day, eventually, we will fully realize this truth. And how and what will we be when we do that? There's a sense of knowing it. As you continue to hold your attention in that space in front of you and contemplating the sense of this conviction of the truth, although not yet even in the smallest fraction can we say we have realized it, but yet there is this innate conviction about it. We start to feel a glowing presence in that space in front of us. And as that glowing presence becoming more and more present, brighter, the sensation in the forehead gains a little strength. And eventually, that bright presence becomes very, very apparent in its details. And the detail that is most important, that is most relevant, is this conviction. This is me. The me that I'm aspiring, that I know that I am. That future me realized. However it looks like, there's a brightness to it. And there's that quality of that conviction connected to it. And it is absolutely beautiful. All the wonderful feelings that you know you want to experience is spontaneously come up within you in its presence. And naturally, spontaneously, your heart opens in its direction. And there's a softness that you feel, a palpable softness in your heart as you stay in its presence. You feel safe. You feel free to just be. You feel cared for. And you care spontaneously in return. Because this is you, you feel a deep sense of connection. And there's a joy in that connection. There's a joy in that sense of being free to be. A joy in a sense of being accepted. No longer having to hide any part of you. And spontaneously arising within you, you want this being to be protected. You want this being to, you see this being as being worthy and should always be content and happy. And you want that for that being. You finally see the you that is worthy of being content and happy and free of pain. And the beauty of that being. Whatever it is that made it possible for you to become this being, whatever you relied on, whatever pointed the way, whatever pushed you along the way, you feel immense gratitude, immense respect, immense trust. There's something that you can also pick up from this presence. It's radiant joy. It's fearlessness. Abiding fearlessly in truth. Unafraid to love. As a matter of fact, protected by this fearlessness to love. And gently she looks upon you. And there's something about those eyes. When you look into those eyes, you feel seen like you've never been seen before. And it gives you joy to be seen this way. And there's a joy in those eyes as they look at you, as if they are seeing the most beautiful being in the world. They're looking at you. They are seeing you. They accept you. They're not asking you to be anything other than who you are. They are content that you are part of their continuum, that you are connected to them. And they see you as worthy of being happy, and they want you to be happy. And that softness in your heart just keeps getting softer, like a flower opening, softening. And as a gift, this bright presence come to the crown of your head and transforms into a size big enough so that this light can descend through the crown of your head. And as it descends through your head, there's this brightness, and it's giving you such joy. It descends like honey, and eventually comes to rest in the very center of that soft feeling in the center of your heart. And that softness becomes exponentially softer. Now the flower, as it were, is fully opened, so soft, so much joy, and illuminates that softness, causing that softness to radiate light. As the light radiates, embracing and revealing every part of you. And you see those parts of you in the same way those eyes saw you. They accept you. You are accepting yourself. And the joy to accept yourself fills you. The joy of seeing, yes, indeed, you are beautiful. The joy of knowing this is you, your continuum, fills you with joy. As it radiates, illuminating every part, embracing every part, every cell, every organ, your body, your personality. You're seeing beauty everywhere. Everywhere in yourself that you look, you see beauty. You see yourself. You see yourself as worthy of happiness, and you want it. You fully accept yourself. And that softness fills your entire being, as if you have melted into your heart. And remember that freedom that you gave your senses. Go into that freedom. Now, whatever comes to your senses, whether from your immediate surroundings or from your memory, let them go through that filter of light. Let yourself feel the joy of seeing beauty, of fearlessly loving, accepting, connecting, caring. Okay, get ready to arise from the meditation at first. Be aware of the space of the meditation itself. Be aware of the depth of the meditation by noticing the strength of any of the signs, rejoicing, witnessing them, whether the signs are arising from the body, from the mind, or from the breath, or energy, however, or whatever combination. Joyfully, rejoicingly be aware that you are in the meditative state. And make the intention to come out, allowing that part of you that understands, that can understand, allowing it to come to the forefront so that you can make the best of this evening with the best of motivations. So with that, get ready to come out. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and through the mouth, just release. Let yourself reconnect with your immediate surroundings. Deliberately, consciously be aware, and notice also the consciousness that is aware now and how the slight difference of awareness that you're experiencing right now in terms of how you feel your environment through your sense of touch, hearing, and sight. Okay. Just before you start complaining, I did say it was going to take a long time. Okay, so it's long. All right, so some of you are probably familiar with this, you've done this meditation before, but it's been a while since we reconnected with it. I think the times that we are in right now, I think we need to make contact with that kind of sense, that kind of consciousness more and more. And it will be, and it is a strength to connect to. And why do we need to connect to that strength? In the email, there's a sense of difficulties that we have. You know, this is December. This year was, oh my goodness, all those difficulties. There's a optimism, a sense of hoping that the difficulties will be left behind and better days will be ahead of us. And we are looking forward to them. I don't want to sound like I am some sort of a prophet or anything like that, but we shouldn't have that state of mind. The state of mind of basically waiting for better days in order to. Whatever is going on, wherever we find ourselves, we should consider to be, this is it. This is the optimum condition for me to grow. And the reason I said that I'm not going to pretend that I'm some sort of prophet. Let's say maybe it's not going to get better. So what are we going to do? We're going to go dive deeper into worries. We're going to dive deeper into depression. We're going to dive deeper into hopelessness. No. Let's say not that not that I'm saying be pessimistic. Maybe 2021 is not going to be better, or 2022 or 2023. Maybe we might go through some extremely difficult moments, difficult periods. But we should have the sense of preparedness that whatever we encounter, we will use it as a means to evolve, as a means to uplift ourselves. Okay. And it's a wisdom. Don't get caught up on that word if from whatever tradition that you come from, where wisdom is already classified and presented to you. And then unfortunately, we have our warped understanding of what this wisdom is supposed to be anyway, where we are stuck to it. And we're going to be stuck to it for quite some time. But go back, remember, you don't need to read 10,000 books in order for you to figure things out. Not that I'm not advocating don't read. But I'm saying that's not where wisdom comes from. Wisdom doesn't come from reading books. And you've met people who seem to have read a lot, and yet they don't seem to have much wisdom. Okay. So wisdom is something else. It's what you do with those things that you read. How are you processing them? That's where the wisdom is coming from. Wisdom is always coming from within, not from outside. And the reason I'm saying that is, in your gut feeling, so to speak, how do you understand wisdom? That is wisdom. Forget the definitions. I find it kind of weird, especially nowadays, when you're reading a book and then the author wants to prove to you that what he's presenting is correct. He's quoting somebody else who wrote a book. And who is that person quoting? Somebody else who wrote a book. Where does it end? Where do we get to the point where the first person who actually understands it spoke? That first person is you. That first person is your instinct. Wisdom is not what the book is defining it to be. Wisdom is that instinct of what you know in your bones, in the marrow of your bone, as to what is wisdom. Okay. And I have to talk about wisdom this way because it is very important as to how do we get to true north. And what is true north? Don't Google it. Don't Google it to find out what it is, okay? What is your instinct telling you? Stay with that, okay? What is your gut feeling telling you about what is true north? That's what we're talking about, okay? Perhaps when you're trying to express it, the words that you use may not be the words that so-and-so use, but you know in your gut what you mean, what you are feeling, okay? Sometimes true north, you could even say, is my true purpose or my true direction, or that's what north is. It's a direction. Okay. The home that will help me get home, the direction that will help me get home, that will get me to that state of being where I feel, oh, okay, finally, I've arrived. I am who I'm supposed to be, whatever that means. Yeah. And how is wisdom connected to that? And not go into a dissertation or into a long discourse on, quoting so-and-so with long names, but rather your true north will change. If it doesn't change, you're not really following it. Okay? Because of wisdom. And what am I pointing to when I'm saying because of wisdom? Because of allowing yourself to meet what you're meeting with face to face. Whether it's an emotional state, whether it is something that is presented to you, you're allowing yourself to meet it where it is, however it is, however you're feeling about it. Not what you would like it to be, not what we fantasize about it, what our ideas about it, but how it is. And this is a journey. And the reason I'm saying it's a journey is it's a slow unfoldment. Perhaps the first wisdom we will encounter is, oh my goodness, all I'm seeing are my projections. I'm not talking about this philosophical projection thing, okay? I'm talking about the way I think this person is behaving towards me that I'm responding to is my projection. It's not necessarily what this person is necessarily saying to me. It's not necessarily the emotion that this person is holding me with, but rather I'm just into my own view of what it's supposed to be, and I'm reacting to my own view of it. That's the first sign that you're developing your wisdom, to basically see that, wait a minute, I am wrong, or I don't have it. What I thought was right is not necessarily right. To understand that is the beginning phase of gaining wisdom. That itself is a wisdom, because what are you seeing? You're seeing what you thought was reality as what it actually is. I thought this was reality, but I'm seeing that it's not what is being presented to me, but rather what I'm holding to be reality, what I'm hoping to be reality, what I'm hoping to be the experience. And that's what I am actually experiencing right now. Or you could say you're stuck in your head and you realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm stuck in my head right now. That itself is a wisdom, because that's what's actually happening. But to be stuck in your head and thinking that you're outside of your head, that is ignorance. And you will not be able to find true north outside of wisdom. And the reason that it will change, because there will be a moment, there will be moments when you feel I should go in that direction, and it feels vividly real to you. It feels like that's where I should go, that's the direction I should go, that's the path I should take, that's the sadhana I should recite, that's the teacher I should follow. It feels real to you. That's the person I should be with. That's the career I should follow. If that feeling is not something that you're making up in a sense of that's the feeling I should do because it would please so and so. That's what my mother wants. That's what my father wants. That's what people are expecting of me. But it's not what you really feel from the depth of your being. Then if it is something really coming from the depth of your being, it may not be completely clear. You may not be completely clear as to what it is yet, but you feel it's going in a particular direction and you follow it. And as you follow it, you start to realize that it is shifting and changing. And you go with that shifting and changing. And because it is real, because it is visceral, then you are following wisdom. Then you are developing wisdom. And this is what is presented many times by people who are those kind of speakers who want to psych you up, make you, the people give those how to be successful kind of talks. That's what they refer to as failures. But they're only failures only in how your perspective of them. They're not failures per se. They are necessary path that you have to follow to get to eventually your true north, your ultimate true north, if there is such a thing. Okay. Because if you didn't follow them, you will not be able to, you will not be on a journey, and you will not be able to finally get to that point where one day when you get there, you say, oh yes, this is where now I know this is where I'm supposed to be. And the reason that we don't get to that sense of, yes, this is it, it's usually because we are waiting without going through what we might call failures. I thought I wanted to be a painter. And I went into that direction wholeheartedly. And I discovered that, well, there's something about painting that awakens something within me, but being a painter is not really what I want to do. But by having gone through that path of being a painter, I revealed something within me that it could have only been revealed by having followed that and becoming a painter. And then I found out that maybe something else. I'm supposed to be a banker. Complete opposite, right? I just said that just for the heck of it. But it could be that you need to be a banker. And then you go along that line, okay? And the thing is, it's not that somehow there is this perfectly clear indication, be a banker. Okay, all right, I'll be a banker now. Be a painter. Okay, I'll be a painter now. Or sometimes I thought I was the only one actually who had that kind of personality where you're actually interested in so many different things and they seem to have equal value to you. But for some reason you feel that I have to choose one, but I don't know which one to choose. Should I go in that direction? But if I do that one, I'll miss out on this one. If I go in this one, I'll miss out on that one. And something in you is telling you do all of them. But that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do one. But which one? But they all feel equally important to me. So whichever direction you choose to follow, if you fall into that category where you're sincerely interested in many different things, you may try one. And if you end up that being the thing that you do for the rest of your life, then okay, you found your true north. You don't have to worry about, oh, I'm going to miss out on the other ones. But if indeed you go in that direction with a sense of regret, I should try that one, and we will not be on a journey much, but rather we'll be stuck in this circle of not going outside of our heads, but rather allow experience that life is giving us to actually help us, to guide us. Oh, that was that. Excuse me. Yeah. Allowing experience to guide us, allowing what is to be appreciated for what it is. And appreciating what is for what it is doesn't mean that we have to like it. Doesn't mean that it has to be pleasant. Both what is, if it is what is going on and you are allowing yourself to be with it, you will grow. Doesn't matter if it's pleasant or unpleasant. It doesn't have to be pleasant in order for growth to take place. It doesn't have to be pleasant in order to be a sign that growth is taking place. And for some people, they have the opposite. If you're not in pain, then there's no growing. It doesn't have to be painful in order for growth to take place. But the thing is, whatever is going on, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, as long as it is what is going on and you're allowing yourself to be with it, you're not stuck. We're not stuck in our heads. Growth is taking place. And how will this look out in the world when we are just being with whatever is being presented to us? We do create scenarios in our minds, but what if? And the answer to this is very simple. What if is not what's going on right now? When what if is actually taking place, then you deal with it. Don't get stuck in what ifs, which is sometimes holds us back from being with the world as it is. Perhaps we can say that the reason that we are hesitating to be with the world as it is because deep within us, we know there is a deep sense of dissatisfaction in the world that we will encounter. And we don't want to encounter this deep sense of dissatisfaction. If by some miracle you can bypass this, experiencing this deep sense of this deep sense of dissatisfaction, and somehow attain some sort of, I don't know, evolutionary goal, enlightenment, without having to go that, then I would say, please give us the recipe. So far, everyone who has claimed to have achieved a state that we say, oh yeah, that's a state I would like to achieve, they've had to deal with this reality of experiencing dissatisfaction. And we should not be misled by the statement. There's nothing dissatisfactory about the world that we are afraid to encounter. But because of what we bring, how we are participating, there will be elements that we will encounter which will give us the experience of deep dissatisfaction. And this deep sense of dissatisfaction, if it is real, if it is connected to an actual experience, that's wisdom growing. You are encountering what you might call not me. You're having a direct experience of not me, a real experience of not me, not a made-up experience of not me. Most of the time we have a made-up idea of not me. And because it is made up, because it is not the real encounter, our sense of dissatisfaction is not real. And we can't grow because of that. Because we're not encountering the real experience of true dissatisfaction. And it is not, and you know me with pain and suffering. You know my stand on that already. I don't give pain any credit whatsoever. Even though I seem to be saying, go through pain and you will evolve. I seem to be saying that. That's not what I'm saying. As you follow what you feel is the direction that you should go to, you will have direct experiences of not me. This direct experience of not me is a revelation. It is a wisdom arising within you. Yes, this is not me. And I'm going back to how does it look in the world? And here's an example of how does it look in the world. When we have a fake idea of what's not me, no matter how precise or eloquent we're able to quote so-and-so with the long name who is describing not me, if it's not a direct experience of what is not me, we'll be stuck. And that's why we feel stuck a lot, because our experiences are not real. We're not really dealing with real experiences. As sometimes what we do, as soon as we begin to have a painful experience, immediately we take the real painful experience, put it away, and we bring in a fake painful experience, thinking that we are dealing with the real painful experience. And we let our imagination run wild with this fake painful experience. When you catch yourself going into imagination as to what this experience is, rather than just shutting up and just experiencing it, you're not really with the pain. You're not really with the pain. You're with a fake pain. And these are supposed to be some of us who are evolved who do that, or a little bit more evolved than the average person. Oh, I'm supposed to be with pain. Well, here's pain. Okay, let me deal with it. Oh, pain is Nagarjuna said, so and so said, it's listed in that book. Shut up. Be with the pain. Let the pain tell you what it is. You don't have to imagine it. It is right there. And what am I directly pointing to? I'm talking about those points where, especially, and I have this experience, and I hear people tell me they have this experience. They are caught up in a cycle. They keep revisiting the same pain. Either it's an illusion of the same pain when it is a different pain, or when we thought we were dealing with it, we were not really dealing with it. And of course, if when you're dealing with a pain, it is indeed too much for you, acknowledge that's the reality. It is too much for me. Don't go into pretending to be dealing with it when it is indeed too much for you. Say, it is too much for me. I prefer to deal with it later. Sometimes you're in such an emotional state when you're in a debate with someone and you're so caught up in your own emotion, you can't really come out of it. Then the thing to do, I would love to talk about this and get to the bottom of this, but right now I'm not able to really see clearly, correctly. I have to take a break from this. And that is a sign of maturity, right? So in the same way, we have to do that with ourselves. Just because it is said, be with your pain and you will evolve, it means real pain. And if indeed the pain is too much for you to deal with, that's your reality. That's what you have to admit. That's what you have to directly deal with. It is too much for me to deal with now. I'll deal with it later. Of course, and later doesn't mean that stay as you are and then later somehow you will miraculously be able to deal with it. We have to prepare ourselves in the meantime while we put it away. Give ourselves the strength that we need so we can, when we are dealing with the pain again, now we have a bit more strength. Perhaps we can stay with it for 2 minutes rather than those few seconds that felt like eternity. And eventually, we'll be able to stay with it. Oh yes, this is pain. And this realization is wisdom, because that's what is actually present. And once you come to that realization, this is pain. The reason that we are able to say this is pain because we are deeply connected to it. We know what is connected to it, whether it's components, parts. What is it that are possible links that makes this reality, this experience real? And how to not perpetuate the cycle of revisiting this pain again. Until we know that this is pain in a very nice universal way, not universal, new age way of talking about this, we will not have learned whatever lesson we were supposed to have learned. And there's no need to fantasize as to what this lesson could have been. The lesson is, this is pain. This is knowing it. And this time, just like there is that deep knowing within you that there is something meaningful to strive for, now you will know in your bones that this is pain. And the natural reaction that we will have is, I will no longer, I know what I know, what I engage in that brings out this pain. I have to say a little bit clarification about that. Remember, what is pain? Don't go to Google, please, to find out what is pain. Go into your guts. What is pain? What is your natural reaction? What is your natural understanding of what is pain? Yes, that's what it is. And in terms of what constitutes, what makes something pain, okay? We have that understanding. That's why when we encounter it, we say, oh yeah, pain right there. Yes, pain has a lesson for you, but the purpose of pain is not to continuously accompany you on the journey. It has a message for you. And once you stay with it, like if someone is telling you a message and you're running away from them, you're not gonna be able to hear them. They're gonna keep running after you because they need to give you the message. Until you stand, face the person, then you can fully hear the message. Then the person's purpose of giving you the message is fulfilled. Then the person can go away. So when the pain, what is the pain telling you? What is pain? And if you go deep, 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 and we're going about deep, deeper than deep, okay? And it's gonna sound new agey when I say I'm warning you. So what is pain? What is pain? Not me. But not me in a sense of holding on to not me and keep saying this is me when it's not me. Holding on to it. That's what pain is. Whether we are consciously doing it, most of us, we do it unconsciously. Yeah. That's the message of pain. What you're holding on to is not me, and you keep calling it me. But until we face it and say, oh my goodness, pain, we will not know this is not me. Okay. Now, some talk about managing. So I've already sort of talked about an essential tool that we will need for difficult times when we are heading towards true north, looking for true north. And that is basically be with whatever is going on. Wisdom is not holding beautiful thoughts in your mind that you have no connection, that you feel no connection to, no embodied connection to. That's not wisdom. Wisdom is looking around and saying, wow, this is messed up. When it is messed up, that's wisdom. Wisdom is not being in a messed up situation and saying something else. Oh, this is a paradise. I'm just not in the right mind to see it as a paradise right now. That's not wisdom. That's fooling ourselves. That's the opposite of wisdom. You're not being with what is. Just like when you look around and say, this is messed up. A paradise should be just like that. Just this immediate. Yeah, this is paradise. If we don't recognize that we are in a mess, when we are in a mess, forget about ever experiencing paradise. Paradise will always be just something that you imagine at times. It will always be something you wish for that will can never be real. Because here you are pretending your mess is paradise. Your mess is not paradise. What is your mess? Your mess is your mess. It's not going to be a mess forever. You don't have to be afraid of that. Just because you're looking at something for what it is and you allow yourself to see it, it doesn't mean that seeing it for what it is, somehow you're cursing yourself. Is okay, if I see it as it is for what it is, that means I'm stuck to it just like this. If I see this as messed up and it is messed up, then I'm going to be stuck to this. I'm going to be stuck to being in this mess forever. And that's you could say that's a kind of a natural instinct. When it's that initial sense of this is not where I'm supposed to be. That's why it's a mess. I'm not talking about a mess like just because you have paper stacked up in one place. That's not the definition of a mess. Okay, for some people that's perfect order. Okay, whatever you experience as a mess. Okay, it means you're in a place, in an environment, in a state of mind, in a state of being that something in you is telling you this is not how it's supposed to be, whatever that is. Okay, if you don't recognize, if you don't allow yourself to have that wisdom of knowing this is not how I'm supposed to be, this is not what it's supposed to be, then how it's supposed to be will always be just a nice idea. It will never be an actual experience. And when we bring this attitude toward in the path, we either eventually become discouraged and leave this path thing behind, or we become dogmatic. Okay. And I like something that Isaac said about where the path itself becomes an obstacle. The path, it becomes an obstacle. Because it's like your mind is stuck in the book. You're not allowing yourself to experience life and not taking the book as a guide, but as a crutch. What is it that is going to help us evolve? What is it that's going to eventually help us arrive at a place where we say, okay, now I am enlightened, I am awakened? It is the very experiences that we deal with every single day. Whatever the experience is, whether it is pleasant, whether it is frustrating, whether it is unpleasant, dealing with it directly as it is the means, that's the path, is the means to awakening, is the means to becoming enlightened. It's not going to some perfect, isolated place somewhere and somehow, because now the conditions are supposedly perfect, now we will finally be able to finally reach that enlightenment. Yes, there are times when we need to isolate ourselves from our friends, from our family. We need to time alone. There are times you could say we need to go to a cave somewhere, or whatever the cave may be. I mean, you can, doesn't have to be an actual cave. You know, you can go to Four Seasons, have room service. Okay. Your retreat assistants don't have to be bringing you lentils. Okay? It could be the staff of Four Seasons. Include them in your retreat boundary. Okay. As a matter of fact, there's a teacher that I know who had a student who was sort of stuck to the idea of being simple, avoiding luxury, and he was stuck. You could say that that student was holding on to the idea that this simplicity is inherently pure and leads you to enlightenment, and luxury is inherently evil, and any contact with it will prevent you from achieving liberation. Okay, and what did the teacher do to help that student? The teacher told that student, you better go out into the world and become very successful materialistically before you can begin to have a chance at evolving. Because that student was stuck in his ideas about what is ultimately pure, what is ultimately impure. There is nothing ultimately pure, ultimately impure. It's how are you able to skillfully make use of it for your evolution. Okay. I'm not gonna say silly things. I'm saying they're silly things. I'm not gonna say such silly things like, well, the world is not really whatever you're experiencing the world to be. Oh, the world is not really going that way. I mean, how is that helpful to you? Okay. Trying to give you a picture of a world that is not your experience. How are you going to use your experience to grow? Always your perspective. Yes, there's a truth to that, but what does that mean? It's your perspective. Or probably so-and-so is in, that you see is probably see the world as heaven. So what? So-and-so sees the world as heaven. How do you see the world? Good for them if that's their experience. We talk about your experience here. Because we get stuck we don't move, we don't make progress, thinking that, well, maybe Joe or Nelson or Maurice, they don't see the ugly that I see. For them, it's paradise. Okay, if that may be true, but that's for them. What about for you? And because they see it as paradise, when that person is really making you upset, being upset is what is actually going on. If you're not being with it, if not acknowledging I am upset, you're not going to be able to grow. You're not being with what is. Okay. Whether you have the right to be upset or not, that's not the issue. The issue is you're upset. That's what's happening. That's what you're supposed to deal with. And the way you deal with it is not to pretend that it is not there. Okay. The way to transcend it, if that is something that's more appropriate, the way to transcend it is to transcend it. How are you going to transcend something that you're not facing? You have to face it to transcend it. Okay. How are you going to go over the wall if you don't face the wall? Okay. So the world makes you anxious. The news, the whatever, you feel hopeless. That's your condition. That's what's happening. Does that mean pretend that the world is not doing that way, and that's supposed to be the spiritual thing to do? That's supposed to be the thing that's supposed to be spiritually evolving, pretending that it is not doing those things to you? If it is indeed doing those things to you, look at them. Yeah, this is what's happening. And if you need to transcend them, if indeed it was just your Yeah, okay, I know I don't like that word, but I'm gonna use it. If it was your projection, right? Then you will, the world messing me up, that was my projection. But how are you gonna come to that realization that it is your projection if you're refusing to look at it for what it is? And when you indeed know that it is your projection, then you will know what to do. It will not be an idea as to what to do that you have to try out. You will know what to do when you realize, it is my projection. But if it is your projection, you have to look at it to make that realization that is a projection. Not it is a projection because the guy with the long name a long time ago wrote in a book that it is a projection. That's not what makes it a projection. Okay. So be with the world as it is. That is the beginning, that is the middle, and that is the end. That's how you know your true north. That's how you will discover it. And sometimes, if we are in a place where we are confused in the sense of, well, I don't know if this is it or if that is it. Well, should I not? I'm not sure. And you feel like you're stuck. You don't know. You feel like you should go somewhere, but you don't know to go somewhere. What is your true state? Your true state is confusion. Let that be that is an opportunity for you to have wisdom. What is the wisdom you gain? I am confused. Admit it. Admitting it doesn't make it a reality that will last forever. Okay. Right now, I am confused. That is the reality. If that is the reality, then your wisdom is growing. And when you realize I'm confused, and because that's what's actually taking place, the mind becomes clearer. It is looking at what is rather than just staying in the head. And because you have that clarity, then you probably come to realize, oh man, wait a minute. It's not a decision between those two. It's something completely entirely different. How are you going to know that if you're stuck thinking that, oh, should I go here? Should I go there? Should I go there? But realizing I'm confused. And by admitting this, what's happening, now we have wisdom. And with wisdom, there's clarity. And with that clarity, there's clarity of consciousness, clarity of awareness. And with that, some of the veil is removed, some of the cloud is removed, and we see, there it is. This is what I was looking for. And that's why it says it comes like intuition. It's not necessarily the mechanism of figuring out that gives us the answer. Not that I'm against figuring out. Of course, figuring out is a way of arriving at an answer, but it's not the only way. Okay. Now it's, when it comes to the difficult moments, and the answer is the same to how dealing with difficult moments is to acknowledge that these are difficult. And this is the knowledge, this is the measure with which I can deal with it. This is the measure with which I can relate with it. This is it. Acknowledge it. Be with what is real, what is actually taking place. And you don't have to worry about some kind of gymnastic internal gymnastic that you have to do somehow that will help you deal with the difficulty, with difficult moments. Some trick, some trick to help you deal with difficult moments. The means to help you deal with difficult moments is to realize that they are difficult moments. And no one can give everyone, okay, this is what you need to do. You will, in your wisdom, by being with it, you will come to know what you need to do. And it may be something that takes you only one step. But if you don't take it, you will not be able to take even that step. After you take that step, then you discover how to take 10 steps. Okay. And it is by being with what is that we will begin to actually discover the strength that we need to be able to deal with difficult moments. Okay. We will discover that kind of anchor where difficult moments don't blow us off course. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but I'm going to try it. You're on a sailing ship, and the wind is blowing everything. What's the best thing to do so you don't get blown out into the sea? Hold on to the ship that is rocking. Okay. So when difficult moments are present, be present with them. That's how you don't get blown off course by difficult moments. And what is the anchor? That sense of, this is the direction I should go. And you keep your mind, keep your heart towards that direction. Keep your heart towards that direction. Until that sense, that innate sense that connected you to that direction, ask you to change course. Don't change course. Don't let the circumstances be what determines whether you change course or not. Okay? Those circumstances, you could say, are testing how strongly are you connected, how strongly are you clinging, how strongly are you, how strongly are you connected to your aim, to your ideal, to your north? How strongly are you connected to that? And by strongly are you connected to that means how convinced are you this is your anchor? How convinced are you this is your value? How convinced are you this is really your core value? That's what they're doing. Every newspaper can start lying to you. If truth is truly something is a core value to you, you will not allow the appearance of all newspapers lying to you. Okay, I guess everybody's lying, I'll start lying too. If you can easily fall for that, then truth was never your core value. When the world gets difficult, or when we experience the world as being difficult to us, consider it to be the perfect place to test our values. And as we are testing our values, okay, I have to end with this last point. As we are testing our values, in the same way, just like before, it's still the same thing of being with what is. There was a sense that being truthful was my core value. But I realized it was just a nice idea. It was just something I thought was nice to be a core value. I'm not saying that being truthful should not be a core value, but it could be something else. It could be beauty. Okay? It doesn't necessarily negate truth, but when you're allowing yourself to really be with what is, and when you have a sense of this is my core value, and you're unafraid to have it tested, in then you have found your north, your true north. If you lose it, that is, you realize that you easily let it go. Like all newspapers are telling lies now. Okay, I guess everybody's lying, I'll lie. So you realize that, it's so easy for me to let go of that. That wasn't my core value then. Now you know something. But if you keep clinging onto it, I tell the truth, I'm about truth, but you're participating in a lying game, then you're lying to yourself. Then you don't know what your core value is. You're holding on to an idea of what the core value is supposed to be, what your true north is supposed to be. When it is not. Like I said, it could be beauty, the search of beauty, the experience of beauty. That could have been your core value. So when you're able to let that go, or when the circumstances that you encounter makes it easier for you to let that go, then you have realized something. Now go back again and see, okay, what could be my true core value? What do I really value? Okay, and also can continuously be prepared to be tested. And here's the prophetic thing I wanted to say. It's not gonna get better. Okay. But when you hold on to your core values, no matter what, you will always evolve. You will get better. Okay. Okay, I think this is it. If you have questions, comments, now is the time. The floor is open. Did I miss something? Did I state something that you have? I have a little problem with that one. And this wasn't too heady, I hope.
Not too heady this time. I'm still working toward a question, but I wrote down a favorite line of how can you go over the wall if you're not facing the wall? And yeah, I think I've been using that in others and pointing to it. And I think I'm in a moment of starting to notice that for myself. And I get, not knowing how to answer it. So yeah, I think I'm recognizing that I'm in a moment of turning to face the wall. or find where the wall is, something like that.
Yes, then that's wisdom right there. Acknowledging this is what's going on, and that's what's going on. That's wisdom. Can you read the question for me?
Yeah, so Paul wrote in, is your core value that what is telling you what is going on at the moment is not right?
Very nice. Yeah. I would say. Your core value is what is instinctively telling you what is going on is not right. And the core value may not be clear to you even at that time as to what that core value actually is. But that sense that tells you this is not right, it's coming from the core value. So when you direct your awareness towards the source of that, it's an opportunity for the core value to be revealed to you in a way that that you can sort of articulate in a conceptual way, so to speak. So the core value right now is non-conceptual, and our awareness is not in the non-conceptual space. That's why we're not able to have that sense of direct connection to it. But we are dwelling in the conceptual space. The core value is speaking from within a non-conceptual space, so we can't quite label it. If it's beauty, if it's honesty, if it's whatever, right? We can't give that label to it yet. But it is speaking to us. This is not it. This is something's off here. So when you stay with that sense of this is off, and you sort of almost turn your inner ears, your inner senses towards where is that coming from? And what you're actually doing is you're going in there into the non-conceptual space, staying connected from the source and bringing it into conceptualization. And then you're able to say, beauty or honesty or compassion. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Nizam.
Hey, Phuntsok.
Hey.
Gosh, I think sometimes I think I can't be more thankful for your teachings, and then I'm more thankful for them. This one definitely felt very much from the heart and not too conceptual at all. And I thought the idea that dissatisfaction or pain at its deepest level is just not me. I think that was a very profound thing to hear from me. Yeah, it's like so simple, so clear. It's like we don't have to like have some lesson about it like you're saying. It's just like, I don't know. I think that you really framed it in a very touching way. Yeah. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Martha, you have something?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah? Okay.
Maybe I'll
Martha, after you, Miriam. Go ahead, Miriam.
Oh, I'm sorry, Martha. You go first.
No, please go ahead. Go ahead. No worries.
My question is, it feels slightly dissatisfying when where you are is confused and not knowing the answer.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me want to say, well, I'm not interested in wisdom. Sorry. But, and it reminds the effort that one has when they're in a position that they really want to get out of can be such that they try many things. And it reminded me all of a sudden of a lot of people's stories about how they enter the path. Like, I entered the path when I had no other choice. You know, I got into my wit's end, and then I met this teacher. And there's, I would say, many people who really enter a spiritual or a devotion towards wisdom evolution. So when you're in the midst of it all and you're kind of humbled by an obstacle you seem to not be able to traverse, and you use the remedy of facing what it is to be what it is, exactly as it is, and seeing that as a wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still, what you really want is to change. What is that wish that you have for it to not be there? What is that quality?
Mm-hmm.
In regards to, is it the quality of recognizing that's not me, or a grasping to an idea of me and saying, well, that's not what I want it to look like, so I don't accept it until I get the thing I want?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is that psychological play? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. There are several things in there. When the person is having that experience and that person feels the need to go search out someone, they're listening to their wisdom. When you are facing a difficulty and when we think we are dealing with it, what we are doing, we are simply distracting ourselves from it. And we are convincing ourselves that we are dealing with it. But what we are actually doing, we are distracting ourselves from it. We are pushing ourselves from really dealing with it. And with the delusion that we are working with it. And because we're not really working with it, it circles, seems to circle. It seems to keep coming back. It's not really coming back. That we never really dealt with it. We never really actually stayed with it. And staying with it doesn't mean this is what it is. I think I can do. That's not what it means. It's not a sense of giving up. It's really like, I'm going to give you an example of thinking fire burns and putting your finger in fire and knowing that it burns. When we are in the distracting of ourselves, not really being with the difficulty, but doing all those different things just to distract ourselves from it, it's like, I think fire burns, and going around saying fire burns, as opposed to being with it and then knowing, because you've made that direct contact with fire, and whoa, now you know fire burns. Now that you know fire burns, this knowing of fire burn, does that mean you keep your finger there? Now you know, don't put your finger there. It's not an idea in your mind anymore. Now you know from experience. So in the same way, when you're with the difficulty, you have a knowledge, you have a knowing, a deep knowing, this is painful. And the knowing that this is painful is not like you're going to be in some, a part of you is going to be experiencing some sort of bliss while you're knowing, oh, this is painful. Look at that. This is painful. It's like looking at something on the wall and saying, that's a train over there. No, when you're having that wisdom, that knowing this is painful, you will have the same knowing, take your finger out of the fire. Okay. It's not a giving up when you're knowing what is going on. It's not a giving up into the situation. It's knowing deeply, intimately the reality of the experience. The sense of connected to the path and continuing. If one encounters if the direct experience of the pain leads to discouragement, and that's why I use the example of having direct contact with the fire. If being discouraged to continue on the path is the experience, you didn't put your finger on the fire. being discouraged is distracting yourself from really facing it. Just like your automatic reaction is to pull your finger when you have that contact. When you have the contact with this is pain, your immediate spontaneous reaction will be evolve. That will be the only answer. That will be the only viable, the only realistic, viable avenue that you see open to you is evolve.
Yeah, but what if you can't get there and you want to feel the pain and you can't get there? It's like
If you want to feel the pain, what do you mean?
You want to make that turnover. You want to shift, you know? And you're asking for help and it's not moving. Just this simple thing of I want more than anything. So what I'm asking is maybe you don't want to really change, like those people in my, losing their lives to addiction, losing, like it's so complicated, obviously. I'm not just, I think I'm thinking about the power of the wish. Like when you don't know what to do, there is an honesty there. I truly do not know what to do, but I can say, I know that I want to change.
Yeah.
So there's two powers there.
Yeah. See, there are several things that you're saying there. I know I want to change. Is that a real knowing I want to change? Or is that distracting yourself? First thing. In the despair, when you're facing the despair and you feel the sense of, I want to change, I don't see how I'm gonna make this change taking place. That's what is actually taking place and you're with it. I feel discouraged. I feel hopeless. And I see this condition that I want to transcend. I need to transcend and I can't transcend. Admitting it will be your wisdom, will be your path. Admitting I am completely lost. I don't see, right now, I don't see how I can get out of this. And you admit it. This admission is what some religions would call the state of surrender. And when that surrender is an actual acknowledgement of this is what is going on. I'm acknowledging it. I'm feeling hopeless. I want to get out of here. Really want to get out of here. I don't see a way out. And this is what's actually taking place, and you acknowledge it. That very acknowledgement is the surrender. And because of that sincere surrender, your guru will come. That is the invocation of the guru. That is the unmistaken invocation that the guru is incapable of ignoring.
Thank you, Phuntsok.
Okay.
When you talk about the guru, is it like a person or a high state of consciousness?
Both. The guru is not something we can wrap up in a nice little concept. It can come to you as a person, it can come to you as a page in the New York Times. It could come as a complete inspiration. Okay, so you have to be open to all of those, all those expressions of the guru.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Phuntsok.
Okay, thank you. Namata.
Namata.
Thank you. Talking about pain, I was thinking as you were explaining that we underestimate our capacity to deal with pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we end up like in, running away, or chocolates, or, drugs, or whatever it is, not to deal with the pain.
Mm-hmm.
However, in my personal experience, when I really face pain directly and sincerely, it suddenly disappears. It's not pain anymore. It just becomes like, or peace, or a message, or a blessing, or something totally different, but immediately disappears. But when I don't deal face to face with the pain, it kind of perpetuates and goes on and on and on.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's it. So by facing it, you allowed the pain to do its job, to give you a message. Now, and then it can go on its way. Yeah. Very good. And I'm not advocating that somehow the go get some pain, get some difficulties in life, and then you will have some nice experience afterwards. No. Okay, because there is, like you mentioned, your capacity for certain kinds of pain. You don't have to go looking for it. Okay, it will come look for you.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you. And there's a such thing as fake pain. And we know it when it's fake pain.
Yeah, but that's also where society is selling now, and that you're a fan of New Era, right? So there is this book about the rethinking positive thinking, because now people think, oh no, think positive is also a way to avoid and create that fake situation, to kind of dress up the real pain.
Yeah.
And I'm raising a teenager now, and he's just insane, the little capacity for suffering, and minimum disturb is just a big deal, but society is selling that all the time. Rather than face it. So it's a challenge.
Oh my God, you have a teenager now?
Yeah, 14.
Oh my goodness. We will pray for you.
He grows and I get younger.
Yes. Okay, gang, it's about that time. I thank you very much for sticking around. I thank you very much for coming over. And I will send you a couple of emails about those beautiful programs. Okay. And see you in 2 weeks. Oh, let's do the closing meditation. So the closing meditation is what we've been doing for the past, I don't know how long, I guess, wow, we've been doing it since COVID. It's been a while. Okay. No, oh yeah, we'll not call it the COVID meditation. Okay, so begin to think about, I was meditating. When I was meditating, my body felt like this. I was breathing that way, while you make adjustments, and let that memory sort of gently, nicely begin to have you of a re-experiencing the meditative state. And as you begin to experience it again, just let yourself go into it nicely, gently. And when you begin to re-experience some of the signs connected to meditation in your body, in your breath, in your mind, with choice, this time we will stabilize and connect at the same time. One big breath through the nose, gently, fully breathe in. Through the mouth, release. And as you release, let go, let go, let go. Enjoy the letting go, enjoy the letting go in the body, enjoy the letting go in the breath. Keep letting go, keep letting go. Leave the breath alone, keep letting go, keep letting go. Enjoying the signs in the body, in the breath, in the mind. And feel all of us in your space, your personal space, as if all of us, we were gathering in your room. Don't worry about the size of it. Will it be able to accommodate? It's magic now. It can accommodate all of us and more. We are all sitting together in a circle and have that sense of all of us being there, that you can turn around and see Martha, see Miriam over there, see Mia there, and there's parents on that side. All of us, you can sort of sense the presence here. And now in the center, there is that, as we are thinking us, and from different perspective, people outside pointing to all of us in a circle, they say, oh, look at them, as though them is a thing rather than individuals. Connect with that sense of us. And every once in a while, you're able to recognize what makes us Emmett, Nizam, Liz. Don't worry if I didn't say your name, I'm not. And in that center, the us is gaining a palpable appearance, a palpable presence. There's that sense of us, the same way we feel us with all the different parts of our bodies, of our being, and it's a one thing that we're calling us. So the us in the circle has that same palpable sense of unity. The finger doesn't melt. For it to be us, it stays the finger. So in the same way, Isaac remains Isaac, and yet we're still us. And as that sense of us goes stronger and stronger, all the beautiful qualities of us are embodied in that luminous presence. And from our hearts, there's a strong sense of connection to that us, a link, an intimate sense of connection. And our light feeds the us, making the us stronger, brighter. And the us feeds our heart, making our heart stronger and brighter. And the light coming from us, all of us, growing stronger, stronger. As it grows stronger, it occupies more space until all the different us, all the distinct individuals that make us, we are lost now in the thought of just us. And it appears as just a one bright presence, and it continues to grow. And that us is now including more. It includes every object in that room, the entire building, a house, the entire neighborhood. It continues to grow. The trees, the grass continues to grow. The pets, the cat downstairs, the dog upstairs continues to grow. It's all us, all us. And it grows and grows until it suffuses within its globe, within its aura, within its glow, the entire earth. And in the same way, the right hand will run to help the left hand. We feel spontaneously connected to aid the river when the river needs help, the mountains when the mountain needs help, the grass, the trees, Jennifer all the way over there, John all the way over there. Stay with that sense of us, us, us. And the end of that meditation, or the place of resting in that meditation, where we're just resting, no longer looking, is the same way we felt when the toe is in trouble. All of us, all the parts of the body the mind goes towards that toe to help it. It's not a sacrifice. It's not an exchange. It's us. So in the same way, have that same sense of readiness to spontaneously go help the river, go help the ocean, go help Miriam, go help Luke, go help Davis. And it's not a sacrifice. It's not an exchange. It's just helping us. Then just rest in that. And as you rest in that, you'd say, the message is well received. The realization is well realized. Then that globe of light begins to shrink. And as it shrinks, it leaves everything that it absorbed with pieces of itself, like being smeared with that light. Until we're back again with the light just in the midst of our circle. And that light now splits itself and equally is distributed into each one of our hearts. And in our body, we are not only the us of the body, but the us of all of us. So by taking care of this collection here, we take care of all of us. And by taking care of all of us, we take care of the individual us. And get ready to arise in the meditation. Feel the signature of your meditation, its merit. It's another word of saying it. And should be some palpable feeling that sort of summarizes your meditation. And as you feel it, however it appears, peace, joy, and think of something that sincerely concerns you and dedicate the meditation to help address that concern. Gyo di kyogen Sunam yeshen sokzokshen Sunam yeshen lechungwe Tamba kunye tombar sho. And with the intention to arise from the meditation, take a nice deep breath, feel it, hear it, in through the nose, out the mouth. And deliberately, consciously reconnect with your immediate surroundings. Reconnect with your sense of touch, being aware of the temperature, the feel of the clothing, your cushion. Be aware of the different sounds, and slowly allow your eyes to take in light. Oh, that's light, that's shadows, those are colors, those are shapes. These are beautiful people. Thank you. Have a wonderful night, everyone. See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Phuntsok.
Thank you, Phuntsok. Thank you,
Thank
Emmett.
you. Thank you.
This is so wonderful. This is amazing to see you.
Yes, amazing to see you, Emmett. Hey, Caroline, Christy. Hey. Is it freezing up there?
Me?
No, Caroline. It must be freezing up there. I don't have to ask you. You're all bundled up there, Ference.
Yeah, it snowed. It snowed all day.